Are you ready? Very good. Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 4th. The 4th. This is the Town of Douglas Economic Development Commission. Let's call this meeting to order. Can we have a quick roll call,
At
please?
7:11?
Is it 7:11?
7:11.
7:11. Let's go with Mr. Secretary.
Okay, I'm Paul Peterson, Secretary.
Bob and Eric, Vice Chairman.
Scott Duncan.
Scott's here.
Carol Gogolinsky, member.
Great, and I'm Luke McNeil, Chairman, and we're just about all, we don't have Brad today, but we're just about all in session. Cool. So our agenda's a bit light for this meeting. First, we're going to talk about the COVID-19 grants that have been awarded to the state of Massachusetts. We've all this week reached out to a handful of businesses that may or may not be eligible for this. I have a list of the businesses that we've reached out to so far, I think. I'm just going to read this off, and you can let me know if I missed any, because it's a compilation of the emails that you guys all sent me this week. So we talked to, or left messages for, CJ's Pet Supplies, Blackstone Valley Chiropractic, Dance Sensations, Douglas Hair Designs, The Picket Fence, Douglas House of Pizza, Peak Heating and Air Conditioning, Tebow and Sons Landscaping, Full Service Tree Care, Walking in the Light, which is, I believe, like a consultancy, or I'm not really sure what they do. Jones Beauty Salon, In Gear Inc., and Lake Manchog Camping. Did anybody else reach out to other businesses that I've not added?
Riley's Barber Shop.
Riley's Barbershop.
And I visited Riley's, Picket Fence, and Douglas House of Pizza.
Perfect.
Okay, and I visited Gregory's, and also, let's see, who else did I go to? Oh, Douglas Animal Hospital,
Great.
and I went one other place, too, which escapes me. Oh, the Grill on Main. The Grill on Main, sorry.
So we've talked to 17 local businesses to let them know that there's grant money available. It would obviously be on those businesses to look at the requirements and eligibility and fill out an application to see if they can get that money. But if anybody needs help, anybody that's watching this, you can reach out to probably any of us or find the link on the Douglas EDC Facebook page. So that is facebook.com/Douglas EDC. It's the first link. It's pinned. It's easy to find.
And Bill Cundiff also put it on the Town of Douglas EDC page.
Perfect. So it's also on our website, douglas-ma.gov, and then the EDC branch of that.
It's right on the front page. And
Right
the
on the
link
page.
is there to get to the 6-page document.
Okay. For anybody that might not be familiar with it, the grant's split into two different sections. There's a bucket of money for companies that have less than 5 employees, and then there's another bucket with different criteria for companies that have fewer than 50 employees. So depending on
It's 5 or fewer, 50 or fewer,
Right, correct.
Okay.
5 or fewer, 50 or fewer.
or basically 6 to 50, if you think of the second one. Because the
Correct.
5 or 50 or fewer would include 5 or fewer, but it doesn't include it.
Correct. So hopefully that can give some relief to companies that were adversely impacted. I also printed out some flyers and laminated them and posted them up around here. Or I dropped them off for Chris, hoping that maybe we could
The
get them
voting.
for the voting. I don't know if they were put up or not, but they're around here somewhere. And if anybody wants a soft copy of that flyer to pass around, I can give you that too. So, all that being said, is there anything else that we want to do to spread the word about this? It's open for another couple of weeks.
I'm going to check with Suzanne tomorrow. Evidently, the Board of Selectmen control the sign in front of the fire station.
Yep.
And I already talked to John Furno about that portable sign, which I don't know where they would place it. Maybe downtown would be the best place to put it. Have it flash for a couple of days.
That would be great. And,
Good, yeah, if you can talk with them.
right, we've already run the idea by them, and they're open to it.
Yeah.
We haven't hammered out how and when and all that jazz for how long.
Suzanne wasn't in yesterday, that's why.
Perfect. Is there, should we continue calling businesses? We hit 17, but there's a lot more. I'm not opposed to hitting a couple every day. I don't know what everybody else is.
It's open to the 12th, it's 8 more days.
I'll keep calling them, and I would recommend if you guys have cycles, call them too, and I'll just, I don't know, at the end of every day, give a update or something.
Yeah, if you can send an updated list.
I have it here, I can send it over to, yeah, I'll do that.
Just that we're not double calling.
Yeah. I was just picking randomly off the list, so, send list to EDC.
And you're going to be the gatekeeper as far as we should contact you to let you know who we visited, so there's no duplication.
Yeah, I'll keep the list current, and,
I tried to copy down all the
Do it, right?
businesses here. I could put a list out, but
I have a list.
do you have? all the
Carol,
ones we
did you
just-
visit anybody? Call anybody?
She might be,
Think she fell
she
asleep.
might be off.
I did not.
Okay.
Do you know anybody, Carol? Is there somebody in town that you might just be able to let them know in passing?
I will try to do that.
Cool. Thanks. Great, and I'm realizing here I did not leave time to go over these notes. Do you guys want to take a look at our minutes from the last meeting?
Okay, I can just quickly read them over here. We approved the minutes of September 17th. This is on our October 7th meeting. We appointed Bob as the authorized EDC authority for all gatehouse expenses. That's the Worcester Telegram
Is that done?
expenses.
Are we good there? Do we need to,
Yeah, we voted.
we're all good?
We voted.
Yep.
Did we vote? Because I don't see.
We did vote, yes.
Okay. I thought we did.
Yeah.
But it should have said motion,
Motion approved.
motion was made, seconded, vote was taken, and then the results.
Yes. Actually, I made the motion. Luke seconded it.
Yep.
And
Oh, there it is. Motion made by Paul, second by Luke to appoint Bob. We just needed
Motion
the
passed.
vote,
Motion
motion
passed.
passed.
Great.
Okay.
Sorry.
And then we talked about the CMRPC. You were going to
I did not. I will.
check with Bill Cundiff to see where we were with their activities and if they're still working.
Because I'm a slacker.
And then, Bob, you discussed the three-town effort with the drug company. That's looking for a site.
Yeah, and
We're in the final selection list with 11 other sites.
and we made it to number 3, and we were not chosen as the finalist.
My goodness.
But I think it's an honor to get from 41 down to 3. And then considering what it was, there's 2 type of drug activities. There's like you have in Westboro and Worcester right now, is a biomed, a lot of research. Massachusetts is leading the country in research. This was a manufacturing facility, which they're mostly down in San Juan. I'm surprised we got that far on the list. Research, they tap the local labor market for talent. That's why we're good. We get a lot of medical schools here, UMass Medical. There's a lot of talent in this area for that type of facility. The manufacturing is you use any labor, and labor costs are high here, so they'll build a facility somewhere else where there's cheap labor, like San Juan.
That makes sense.
So, or Mexico or China. That's where the drugs are manufactured. So, and this was a manufacturing company, so I'm surprised we made it to number 3 with a high labor cost,
It's pretty good.
which I
Yeah,
think is
not bad.
which is an honor.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of robotics and mechanized stuff, you know,
Yep.
that doesn't require a lot of donkey work.
So that's the update on that. I didn't mean to go off on a
No,
tangent
that's
on your
great.
minutes of the
I was
meeting.
curious.
Okay, so the last thing was, we talked about these grants
Yep.
that we just discussed now, COVID-19 Business Assistance Grant Program. And that was it.
Great.
You want to approve the minutes as written with the modification
With the modification.
of have item 2 there, that the motion was passed.
Yep, I'll make a motion to accept these minutes for the October 7th meeting as presented with the modification.
Carol, can you second that?
I can second it.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
We have
right,
to do-
so Our meeting,
I think we have to do a roll call because we're remote.
what's that?
I think we have to do a roll call.
We did a roll call.
We all
we did.
said aye, but
Oh, okay, we can do a roll call. So,
Manerick, aye?
Peterson, aye.
Duncan, I.
Gogolinski, aye.
McNeil, aye. So we unanimously vote to pass these minutes?
Yes.
All right, great. Next on the agenda, I had general business updates, and I would like to talk to you guys about a conversation that I've been having with Kevin and just some other people in town about the EDC's role in general. What is the EDC supposed to do? How can we better serve the town? What should our policies and procedures be? And I was talking to Kevin about potentially switching the ingest point for host community agreements and stuff like that to the EDC so that we could do a preliminary sort of a vetting process. We can come up with a list of things, check people's past business dealings, make sure that the people that we as a town are getting involved with are people that we want to have here long-term and whatnot. And I brought that to Kevin to get some kind of clarity, see what we could do, what's legal, how it works, what the selectmen think about that, if it makes sense at all. And
No, you mentioned Kevin Morse.
Kevin Morris,
chairman.
the chairman of the Board of Selectmen, yes, correct. So I attended the Board of Selectmen meeting yesterday, and I talked about this. I didn't really
We did too.
anticipate that. Yeah, you guys were there. And we talked about it a little bit. The selectmen had kind of varied feelings about it, but I wanted to run it by you guys. I didn't mean to go to the selectmen without talking to you about it first. I just wanted to get my story straight before we discussed it. So now it's kind of out in the open. What do you guys think about that? And what do you think our role should really be as the EDC?
The only two thoughts I had last night was, one, if we do this, any new business coming to Douglas has to come through us. We can't have them approaching the town clerk or the Board of Selectmen. They have to steer them all to us for the vetting process, so we don't miss anybody.
Correct.
Like this bid process on Route 16 on the Webster line, we
205.
had nothing to do with
All
that.
right.
Any company should be vetted that putting in an application for a bid, RFP bid, should come through us. I don't know the legalities of it,
Neither do I.
how in-depth we can get with it. And then the other thing, there was one, that RFP had two bidders. One bidder was, the third bidder was disqualified because he was 20 seconds late. The
Oh,
bid
wow.
closed at noon time, he
Oh,
was
wow.
20 seconds
Come
late.
on.
But it's cut and dry.
Yeah, rules are
You're 1
rules.
second late, you're disqualified. Now, think about vetting him if he showed up 2 minutes early. There's no way we could vet that. We would have to vet it after the fact.
Correct.
So there's a lot to think about. It's just not as simple as it appears to be.
Right, and I recognize that I don't have all the perspectives, I don't know the whole story, and there's lots of stories and perspectives to take into consideration. But what do you guys think about the idea in general? Does it make sense? Should we do that? Do you want to do that?
Yeah, our initial charter was to attract, search quality businesses to the town of Douglas, as opposed to screening them or doing anything.
But how did we define what a quality business was?
I guess we really didn't define it, just attract businesses to the town.
Do we want to make that distinction, though? Because that's kind of where I'm at, or that's kind of what I'm thinking. We want to make sure that we're working with the best of the options, right?
I mean, one of the selectmen pointed out last night in that meeting was we need to attract business,
True.
any business.
That's true. But is it any business? Do we need to attract any business?
We need a lot more other than cannabis,
True.
a lot more than just cannabis.
I mean, at this point in time, beggars can't be choosers. Somebody like Webster, who has a lot of business with limited amount of space, can get very selective. We have very few with a lot of space. We've got open arms.
But my understanding is we have a limited number of, I'm talking about cannabis companies specifically, we have a limited number of licenses, and we have above that number of community agreements that have been signed out for those licenses, right? Am I wrong about that? So,
Not yet, hopefully. Right now, there's only 3 HCA's given out for retail. Should be 4.
should be 4 HCA's?
Well, Flying Goose will need one for the Webster facility, on the Webster line. They don't have one.
I thought they did. I thought they were messier.
That's only, no, that's not Messier.
It's not, there's a different
No.
one? All right.
That's a different one. Z&T has 2, Messier has 1. Flying Goose
Flying
needs
Goose is a
one,
whole
does
separate-
not have one.
All right. So how, can you help me understand how that's even possible? How can we have 4 HCA's and 3 licenses?
We don't have any licenses yet.
We only have,
And
we have a
HC
max of 3 licenses that we could potentially give out, right?
Right.
So if we have 3 licenses, how can we have 4 host community agreements?
We should have 10 host agreements.
Why?
The first 3 that come in get the license.
And then what about the other 7, though?
Well, they're out of luck. A lot of towns issue more HCA's than licenses.
So if I were a cannabis company, a large one, and I'm looking for a new place to set up business, I would look at that. I would say, all right, well, this town has so many licenses available, but they've already given out 7 HCA's, so I would take them right off the table. Why would I bring even a
Well,
proposal?
you have to look at those HCA's that have been issued and how long they've been out there. If they've been out there for 2 years, there's probably a good chance they're not doing anything with it
Right?
They just filled out the paperwork and
to get one,
got one,
and then possibly resell it.
kind of holding onto it, yeah, maybe reselling it.
But shouldn't it be more difficult to get an agreement like that as a contract?
Now, if I was in an adjacent town, I would come into Douglas and buy all 3, get all 3, and sit on them. So my hometown would sell all the pot.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm sorry I cut you off there.
I mean, you think about it,
Yeah,
it's
and-
possible,
It's like the golden ticket.
yeah.
That's okay, I don't think I had anything super to say about it, except you can have as many HCA's as you want. It's just that you could probably have 20, but it's not, you're only going to get 3 licenses.
It doesn't make sense to
Now,
me
we're
that-
talking retail only,
Yes.
not manufacturing, not cultivation. There's no number of HCA's you can have, it's unlimited for cultivation and manufacturing or processing.
Okay, it seems like we give them out fairly easily. Is all I'm saying. We treat them like they don't have much value, but they do have value. Like you said.
I think Uxbridge gave out 18 already.
Do you think that's you think that's right?
Caroline's got 1, right? Where are the other 17? Obviously underperforming.
Indeed. It seems odd to me, but that's all. It doesn't seem to seem
An
odd to you
HCA will lead to a license, but it's not automatic.
guys. Right. So do you think that we should be involved in the vetting process before giving out the HCA's, or are HCA's even
If time-
relevant to this conversation?
If time allows,
If time allows.
somebody could come in, get on the selectmen meeting, and selectmen could, well, they don't grant the HCA at the selectmen meetings, they now set up an appointment. We would have to do a quick vetting process on that if it happens within a week.
Well, how would the selectmen vet if it came in at the last minute? They wouldn't?
They would do a cursory vet, probably not an in-depth vet.
I don't know what the difference is. We would have to define what a cursory vet is versus an in-depth. just wondering how it works now. If it works now, I don't know what happens, so. I think the EDC doesn't know a lot about what's going on in these agreements, and we probably should. I should know.
It's a standard form.
going on?
It's whoever comes in gets the same form. It's not tailored to each individual,
The agreements are tailored to each agreement.
to each company, but the form, it's a standard form.
Anybody can fill out a form.
Carol, input?
I think we should, I don't think that we should have to vet these people. I don't even think that's kind of legal. But
Maybe it's not.
We should at least, be aware of what's going on, and things are going on, and nobody tells us about it. That's all.
Yeah, that was my thought process last night, was A, the legality of it, and B, not everybody comes through the EDC to get to Douglas.
Right.
Right.
Should they?
They should at least tell us about it. The town, whatever departments are getting these requests, they should at least inform us of it, I think.
How could we formalize that process without actually changing it so that everything starts with us? Can you think of a way? Should we have joint meetings once a quarter or something
Well,
like
we
that?
have to notify, where would be the first place you'd go to?
Me?
The building department, right?
I
I go
would
to the
think
clerk.
so.
To start pulling permits and stuff?
Or the planning, or the community development department, I would think.
Right, and that's with Bill, so I would say, let's just let him know whatever activity he gets to make sure we're CC'd in on it, or notified.
Right, exactly.
So that's all fine with me. Do you think I should drop the line of questioning around vetting the businesses? Do you think we don't want to do that? I'm asking Carol.
I mean, we could do it.
I don't think we should be vetting, but I think we should be able to at least give our input. And, and know what's going on, because we may have some information that would be helpful.
Of course.
Well, it could be that some of these businesses are having a little problem thinking about where they could get permits and how they could get into the system to make it work, and so we could probably help out there. We could probably help them through it, as opposed to vetting them,
But we
just,
can't help them through it if we don't know about it.
Yeah, if we knew about it, we
Right.
could probably help make it happen.
Now, Mike Fitzpatrick with the zoning board, he is coming up with a checklist of items to do when you come into Douglas.
Yep.
With what you need.
That's kind of what I was
projects.
proposing we did. But if somebody else is doing that, who's that? Mike Fitzpatrick?
Mike Fitzpatrick on the zoning board.
Zoning board.
He's a contractor himself, and he's seen other towns that stand out with that type of procedure. He'll stand in front of the clerk and she'll just go down the checklist. Got this, got this, got this, got this. No, I need this.
Yep. If we don't have that, we absolutely
Yeah, we
need
need
that.
it.
We should.
We don't
be doing-
have it.
Yeah, we need that. So whether it's the zoning board or the EDC that's doing it, it doesn't matter to me which body's doing it, as long as we get somebody doing it.
But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, on the building permit, is there a checklist with that? I think Maria has that checklist.
I'm not sure. I haven't picked up a building permit in a long time. I know that years ago, Hopkinton had the best one I ever saw. Theirs was fantastic. They had a whole list of what you needed, you went in and you got your permit. And I don't know if Douglas has a good list like that. It'd
Hopkinton,
be an interesting thing for us to look into to find out if they do.
I was just going to say, maybe we should check with other surrounding towns to see what they have.
Well, let's see if we may have it already, I don't know.
Well, there are some good example towns that we've looked at that have checklists that are very, very easily available on their websites and
Right.
stuff, like Norton's one, and you just said Hopkinton, right?
Hopkinton, right, Carol?
Hopkinton did, but this was a number of years ago.
Yeah.
It was very good. Although I noticed that even picking up some of the applications that you need, we can't get them online. 'Cause I was looking for one just the other day myself. I can't find where I can get it online on the town's website, and the town hall is closed, so you can't go in there.
Right.
So pick up the applications. You should be able to get these applications right off the website.
Right.
Yep, and print them out.
Yeah, and print it out.
I even looked for the business tax rate on our website, and I couldn't find it. I found the residential tax
We
rate,
don't have a business
It's
tax
just-
rate. We're a single tax
Single.
rate in our town.
right,
Right.
But it doesn't tell you.
single payer rate for
Yeah, we're-
business and residential. But
Yeah,
it's,
we're single rate. A lot of towns are single rate.
Yeah.
Northbridge is single. You don't want to discourage business before they get here.
yep, yeah, and that was brought up at last night's selectmen meeting.
Yeah.
Can be sensitive to that. It's not the intent. Okay, so instead of saying we need to vet these people, maybe we say, let's develop a checklist of prerequisites for doing business in Douglas, or something like that. Does that sound
And-
more palatable?
Yeah.
I mean, someone,
Sounds good. A flow chart of what needs to be done.
and I know Mike's working on that.
Yep. I can reach out to Mike, or have you
Yep.
put me in touch with him or whatever, but I'd be interested in seeing what he's got.
Yeah. And just mention to him Hopkinton is one to look at,
Yep.
What's Mike's last name?
Fitzpatrick.
Mike Fitzpatrick.
Okay, that's all I wanted to address. If anybody has anything else to bring up during general business, I'm all for it.
I have nothing.
Nope, I have nothing either.
Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I so move that we adjourn.
I
Ian?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You,
Aye.
you can't vote. right
Oh, you
yet,
can't
right?
second.
Oh,
You can't vote yet,
that's right.
not
Sorry,
officially.
sorry.
Well, the last one was still,
All right, so we need someone to second it. Carol, you want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right.
Then we got to actually vote by name. right?
yeah, we're going to roll call it. So McNeil, aye?
Right, exactly.
Peterson, aye.
Manerick, aye?
Gogolinski, aye.
Okay, so here we are. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next.